Good morning. I am Andrea Maricelli. I am an Italian literature and ancient Latin language teacher from Milan, Italy. I work in an Apple Distinguished School where all students and all the teachers have iPad. And I'm here to talk with you about teaching with Apple. Starting from my everyday experience, okay, I teach since 2006. iPad arrived at school at 2012, okay, so you can do the math stuff. So why we're here? We are in a system in transition. Education is evolving. We see it every day. Students learn in different ways, at different paces. One-size-fits-all instruction leaves many behind. Textbooks alone are not longer enough, and schools are looking for approaches that enable personalizations of teaching and learning. So there are forces that are reshaping education. We see greater learner variability in every classroom, not only special needs, okay? And the need for differentiated pathways and inclusive practice is felt by us day by day. There is a strong interest in AI as a support tool, and we demand for solutions that are practical and proven. There is a baseline in schools because many schools already use digital tools for communication, routines, documentation, e-learning diaries, grade books, platform for content, and so on. But this is valuable, but often it digitizes administration more than learning. It reproduces traditional instruction. It doesn't automatically create personalization. And we know that transformation starts when tools change learning processes. So how can we go from digital presence to digital impact? We have digital impact when technology enables active learning, better feedback loops, quick checks and differentiation, collaboration, and transferable skills. Impact is visible in student work and learning progress, not in the number of tools used. This is why in my school we choose just iPad and an amount of 20 maximum apps, okay, in our iPad, managed, controlled by an MDM solution. So how to generate digital impact? And this is my experience here for you. Step one. When learning speaks back, audio topic, okay? We are going to analyze it without AI and with AI, okay? Without AI, I can use audio recording of lessons with voice memos in my iPad. Why? Because in this way, I have key explanation recorded during the lessons because I can focus on complex concepts and critical passages, and audio is shared directly with my students, also with transcriptions. Why this matters? Because learning does not happen at the same speed for everyone, and because some students need repetition, and in this way, absence no longer means content loss. So explanation becomes accessible, repeatable, and inclusive. And with AI, we can use Notebook LM from Google, okay? How many of you knows Notebook LM here? Okay. Okay, not so many, okay. So, which is Notebook LM? It is a website where you can import your documents, video, images, what you want, and you can create outputs directly from your documents, okay? It is very useful because it reduces bias and hallucinations, of course. You have to check, obviously, of course, the output, but it is very, very interesting. With audio overview, lesson documents are preloaded, Notebook LM generated an automatic overview, and if in English, the review can be explored through voice interaction. Students can ask questions, and key point and structure remain anchored to the provided sources. What changes? Materials become easier to navigate. Revision becomes conversational and guided. English listening practice is embedded in study, and teacher keeps control by choosing the source documents. AI turns static documents into an interactive learning companion. Video, audio, mind mapping, and so on. We are going to see all of these functions here. Second step, designing learning through video. Without AI, you can use, for instance, Explain Basics to screencast your lessons with iPad, okay? Why it matters? Because complex concepts can be broken down visually. Students can pause, rewind, and revisit. Lessons become structured digital resources that you can put on Notebook LM. So you explain, you create video, you put it on LM, and you create other materials with your videos, okay? And one explanation can support many learners. So teaching becomes reusable, flexible, and scalable. With Notebook LM, you can create video overview from your material, okay? And why it matters? Because one set of materials becomes a ready-to-use lesson, because students can watch, pause, and revisit key points, video, okay? If you don't need the video, you can create audio overview. If you need the students see a process, okay? An explanation of a text, resolution of a mathematical equation, and so on, you have to show them, okay, what you are teaching about. And so they can rewatch it. It is useful, obviously, for absent students and differentiated pacing. And teachers can save time on content packaging. Documents become a lesson, also a video lesson, okay. And again, without AI, how video can help you? Using in iPad environment, iMovie, for instance, because inside iMovie, you can see these templates, storyboards templates, that helps you, because they are pre-designed video structures, how it works, Q&A, top 5, day in the life, and so on. It contains guided short suggestions for each scene, clear sequence of content, and so on. This matters in education because students can plan before filming, thinking becomes structured, narrative logic improves, and creativity is guided by you, okay, and has a pedagogical, didactic purpose. The pedagogical value is clear, strengthens organization skills, develops visual storytelling. I'm trying to do it faster because I have to stay in 20 minutes. Support metacognition, and reduces cognitive overload during production, okay? And with AI, if you have Google AI Pro for education, you can mix it with Workspace because you have a Google Workspace for education plus licensing in your school. You can use in English language only for today, Google Vids in order to create videos, okay? How? AI-powered video creation and editing directly in the browser. Start from a prompt or existing media, templates and AI suggestions for scenes and structures, automatic captioning and voiceover generation in every language. And you can also add music, of course. It matters because one set of materials become a ready-to-use lesson, and so on. It is the same as Notebook LM videos, but it's made by you using these 3 different ways. AI features that really stand out are: help me create. AI generate a first draft video from a prompt and source files. Script generation and layout suggestion using Gemini integration. Okay, let me check. Okay, so I'm not able to do this, okay? I have a dog, so I put 3 images in Gemini in Vids and ask create this this video of me that is skiing with my dog in the snow, okay? Or you can generate voiceovers from text with selectable voice styles, for instance.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die.
Or you can create a presentation from
the heartache and the
Welcome to our video
a
lesson
prompt
on Arthur Rimbaud,
with
the renowned
captioning.
French poet. This presentation will cover his life, his revolutionary works, and his enduring legacy. Rimbaud is famously known as...
And this is very, very impressive because it takes, I don't know, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, okay, to ends up all the video. Another topic is mapping the mind. And you can do it without AI using Freeform, a free iPad app that allows you to mix drawing, text, shapes, media, even AR, and files, AR augmented reality files, okay, inside your single board. You can organize research, notes, and sources. You can encourage student brainstorming, okay? And it matters because students see relationships between ideas and can connect digital materials. Because the problem of digital schools is there are a huge amount of different materials the students has to connect. And Google Classroom isn't enough because he has this blog style index that it is not useful because we have to show our students the logical connection among different materials, okay? Encourage creativity, and so visual thinking becomes shared thinking. But if you want to use AI, you can use Notebook LM in order to create mind map automatically, okay? You can upload your documents, provide an initial guiding prompt, and then LM generate a map. Important to know, the map is generated automatically, it is guided by the initial prompt, but it is not manually editable, okay? So you can touch it after the creation, okay? But it remains anchored to the uploaded sources, and it matters because we can have a fast overview of complex material, we can have a clear visualization of conceptual connection, we can use different prompts to generate different cognitive perspectives, imagine the differences among our students, and it is also useful for revision and orientation before deeper study. And if you want your students write, so they can write, but they can also publish. This is very important. Digital materials you create in your classroom could be published in the stores, Google Play stores, Apple bookstores, and so on, app stores of Apple. With Apple, you can create ebooks with pages, digital ebooks. You can embed videos directly inside the page, insert audio button, add hyperlinks, include image galleries. Reading becomes multimodal. Students can integrate text, voice, and visuals. And of course, it supports accessibility and differentiated learning. Projects can be exported and shared as digital books. This is an example. In 2017, we won the Twinning Label in Finland with a cooperative work that we call Epics in Europe, and we made with Sari Lanto of Il Ritorno di Tescolun Luchio in the Finnish Lapland. It was incredible for our students, bring the Finnish people, the Mid and Southern Europe epic, and receive from them the Kalevala, and work together about Beowulf, because in this year we have the Tolkien transcriptions of Beowulf. Okay, so we mix up all this together, all these things together, and create these 4 books that you can also find on bookstore. But this is only the beginning, because with iPad, you can also surf the topic of coding with Swift playgrounds, and everyone can code curriculum. You can code with this free app, a real cognitive tool. Swift Playground is a visual problem-based environment, and the free ebooks of Everyone Can Code gives us a structured progression. Error becomes part of the progress, iteration becomes learning, and so on. Of course, you can also use augmented reality. If you have a mobile device in your hands, you can create AR. Okay, you can use also apps that shows you one or two or a set of objects in AR, but with iPad and specifically with Reality Composer app, free, you can create AR environment, okay, like this. This is a replication of The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, okay, that we have recreated as we can in 3D. When you touch every single triangle, you can see one of my students, you can hear, sorry, one of my students that speaks about one of the saints in the triangle, okay? So you can consider this the new way we can show our learning, okay? Not just about slides, okay? Imagine this bring in Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3, okay? So coding, AR, and yeah, try to start. If not, okay. And, sorry, accessibility. If you wanna, you can go to YouTube and see the commercial accessibility video from Apple that is very impactful. Accessibility in iPad is built-in, not an add-on. Okay, so you don't have to buy apps that allows you to reach accessibility features because you have accessibility features inside your iPad. It's some sort of universal design for learning by default with iPad. Core features are, for instance, text-to-speech, voiceover, live captions, magnifier, gathered access, dictation. The learning impact is huge because with apps and has this type of hardware, iPad supports diverse learners, reduces barriers immediately, increases independence, and helps students self-regulate in this time in which many countries are deciding to stop social media until 16 years old. This is very important. We have to educate our students to use correctly the digital resources. And you have to know that it's not only for diagnosed needs. It is useful for language learners, for instance. It is useful for focus and attention. It is useful also for revision. And from a teacher perspective, no extra hardware required, no complex setup, and it works across all apps. The key idea for accessibility is that accessibility tools benefit everyone, not only some student. And that's why and how I use iPad in my classroom every day. Thank you.